Welcome to part 5 of the Ultimate New York City Walking Tour. This is the last part. We are in the home stretch, the finale, and we're starting this one in front of Rockefeller Center. It's where we ended part 4, and right behind us is Saks Fifth Avenue on Fifth Avenue, the actual Saks on Fifth. So that's how we're going to start this tour. Is we're actually going to be heading north on Fifth Avenue and just seeing all of the Fifth Avenue shops and window displays on our way to the Plaza Hotel. Landmark on this tour is the Plaza Hotel, and the Plaza Hotel is just a beautiful hotel with a concourse underneath it for dining and shopping, but it is mostly famous because it has been featured in over 30 movies, in like a dozen different books.
I just think it's a beautiful hotel that I'm obsessed with because of Home Alone 2. It's like the perfect thing to see at Christmas time for some reason, even though it's just a hotel.
But the next stop is going to be going in Central Park, so if you need to use the restroom, going down in the Plaza Hotel is a great place to do that as we head over to Central Park. So we entered the park on the southeast corner, and as you kind of take the path, you'll end up at Gapstow Bridge. And Gapstow Bridge is one of the most iconic bridges of Central Park. Built in 1896, it just offers beautiful scenic views of the park. Great place for photos and apparently duck watching.
Yeah.
Almost right next to Gapstow Bridge is the famous Central Park Woolman Ice Rink. Currently it is being zambonied.
Much better deal than Rockefeller Ice Rink, just FYI.
Yes. And then directly adjacent to Woolman Ice Rink is basically one of the best photo opportunities in Central Park. You just take the stone staircase up and then you're on top of this huge rock. Then you have a New York skyline behind you. Highly recommend.
Highly.
That is if you can get a shot in without somebody else in the background. But now we're just going to take a stroll through Central Park, just enjoying the views and the sounds, sights, and smells, and make our way to the fountain. This is the Central Park Mall. It is just a straight path over to the fountain. It is full of street vendors and buskers. You got musicians and street performers all day long.
It's exciting.
So we made it to Bethesda Fountain. This is one of the features of Central Park that was planned from the very beginning. It was actually completed in 1873, and it was designed by the first woman to receive a commission for a major work of art in New York City. And the fountain with the angel at the top and the name of Bethesda is based on a story out of the Gospel of John of the healing of the paralytic at the Fountain of Bethesda. The fountain is also another one of those New York pieces that has been featured in many movies.
Many movies.
But then there's a path leaving Bethesda Fountain that is going to take you right by the boathouse. That is another New York staple, and we'll make our way to the most romantic spot in Central Park, Bow Bridge. So this is Bow Bridge. It has been known as being like a romantic spot in New York City. I have never seen a wedding on Bow Bridge before until just now.
It was like they knew.
It's known for its beauty because it's surrounded by beautiful Central Park and it's right on the lake, but it is also made out of cast iron, which gives it this unique character and texture. But what is funny about that is it was built out of cast iron, not because they wanted to make it a beautiful bridge, but because it was actually cheaper than building it out of stone like all the other bridges in Central Park. But because of that, it ended up being an icon. But now we're just going to backtrack our way over the bridge and head down south and check out the west side of Central Park. There is a lot more Central Park, but you could spend an entire day exploring Central Park, so we're just hitting highlights before we head back out. Park at 69th Street, and we're gonna walk west over to Columbia just to get a quick taste of the Upper West Side as we head back down south. You walk down Columbia, you'll end up running into Lincoln Center. To me, I think Lincoln Center is worth just coming to view the architecture and just the beautiful surroundings and the fountain. But for lovers of the arts, you will very much love this because it is a 16-acre complex that has the Metropolitan Opera, the New York City Ballet, the Philharmonic, Juilliard School of Music is here, and like 3 or 4 other arts and music related things. But it is all just beautiful architecture that I could look at for days. But also, fun fact is that the entire complex was actually built on top of an old rundown neighborhood that was used to film West Side Story. And not surprisingly, whenever they decided to tear down all of those homes and buildings and displace everybody, it was a bit of a controversy putting Lincoln Center in. From Lincoln Center, we're gonna walk over to Broadway and keep walking south towards Columbus Circle. We made our way to Columbus Circle. We are standing in the middle right now. Columbus Circle is just an awesome area. There is during the Christmas season, there's a Christmas market here all year round. Below us right now, there is a little mall called the Turnstile. It is surrounded by just beautiful modern architecture. But a very interesting tidbit and fact about Columbus Circle. Right in the middle, there is a large pole with Christopher Columbus standing at the top. And this was put up to celebrate the 400th anniversary of Christopher Columbus discovering America. But the most interesting thing about it is this point is actually used as the geographical center of New York City. And it's technically not the center, but at some point somebody decided that this was going to be the center. All calculations of where New York City is will be done from this statue. But now we're going to continue down Broadway and make our way to Times Square. made our way to Times Square right as it has begun to rain. We saved Times Square for last, not because we saved the best for last, but because Times Square must be seen at night. We were very close to Times Square earlier in the tour, but we decided to keep walking to enjoy all the other things with the sun and then make our way down here once the sun was down, because Times Square to me is disappointing at all times, but it is especially disappointing during the day. When you come here at night, if you are one of those people that just loves advertisements, then you will adore Times Square, because the advertisements are aplenty. But it is one of those places that if you've never seen it before, it is worth seeing at least once at night, because it has this like shock factor, this like feeling of otherworldly that you just don't get in any other place in America, or maybe even in the world. Seeing it for the first time, just standing here, just like looking around, it is worth seeing.
Yeah.
But after you've seen it the once, I feel like it's probably enough. It's kind of like Vegas.
It's just a lot of advertisements.
Yeah. But some fun facts are, prior to 1907, Times Square was actually called Longacre Square until the New York Times built their headquarter building here and then had the whole place renamed as Times Square.
Man, can you imagine having that sort of influence?
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us on this Ultimate New York City walking tour. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you want some more New York City adventures, we have more videos on our channel. I will link some in the description. There's also one popping up right here. Also, if these are your first videos watching of ours, thank you guys for joining us on this journey. My name is Cody Jensen, and this is my wife, Sarah. We actually live in New York City, and we make videos on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We also have a podcast called Deeply Curious that you can check out by searching Deeply Curious on whatever podcasting app you use, or going to deeplycurious.fm. Subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye!